So recently I made a video about what Red Dead Redemption 3 could be, and you guys really seem to like it. First of all, thank you guys for watching and liking and stuff. I really appreciate it. Like, it's crazy. Secondly, I ended that video by asking you guys what your ideas for Red Dead 3 would be, and whoa, I got a ton of comments from you guys answering that question. It's been really fun over the past couple days reading all these comments and thinking about all the ideas that you guys shared. So thanks for commenting, and also this gave me an idea for a video. I thought it would be kind of fun to take a look at these things that you guys said and talk about your ideas. Let me just say though, if I don't necessarily love your idea, it doesn't mean that it's bad. Maybe I'm an idiot, I don't know. And also don't think I didn't appreciate your comments, because I really do. Like, for real, the comments are like my favorite part about putting out these videos. So with that said, let's look at the first comment. This guy wants it in New York set in 1914 with Jack being the main character. Now this is something I hadn't thought of. I did have a section in the video talking about how Jack may not be the right fit for the next game, but what my guy Big Rob is saying is a little different. The era of cars and horses coexisting is something that I haven't seen all too much in big games, and I think I would love to see it. This game sounds super interesting, and having a main protagonist that we're already connected to could make telling a compelling story even easier. Jack would be so stuck in the past, and having this fish out of water element to the story would be pretty cool, honestly. I don't know if this would have to be Red Dead Redemption 3 or if they could make this into its own kind of standalone game, because it's just so different from everything else in the series. But this idea is really cool to me. If it were its own standalone game, I kind of wonder what they'd call it. Like Red Dead Reminiscent, Red Dead like Redemption. Oh shit, Redemption? Nice, dude. Maybe like Red Dead Rejection or something, because you know, Jack would be like rejecting that the times have changed. I don't know, but I thought this was pretty cool. I saw a lot of comments like this one about Landon Ricketts being the main protagonist of the next game. Ricketts is kind of built up to be a legend that you hear about through both of these games. He gets mentioned by people like everybody knows who he is, like if you were to talk about a celebrity like fucking Mr. Ghost or something. Like damn, he even has his own cigarette card. This comment brings up a pretty interesting story, because how does a man like that become some nobody that protects a small little town in Mexico? I think this could be a very interesting story, and I don't really know how I didn't come up with it in my first video. This would be the first time you could actually see your character become famous, because let's be honest, everything Arthur did in Red Dead 2 would totally make someone a famous gunslinger of that time. But Arthur didn't really care about any of that, and he actually actively tried to not become famous in the story. John basically did the same thing too, because they both used code names for stuff. So I think it would be really cool if with Landon you could actually watch yourself become more and more famous. And then towards the end of the game, you start to watch your fame go away and you start to become more of a legendary figure. It would also be nice to play as a single character for an entire game and not watch them die at the end, because that's always sad. You could also see what happens in a game when your legend gets too big and then stuff gets made up about you. Like how people say Ricketts was at the Blackwater Massacre, but he wasn't seen by John, which kind of makes me believe that that's not true. If this game was called Red Dead Redemption 3, I think it would make sense, because Landon is an important character in Red Dead 1. But I think it would be cooler if they called this one like Red Dead Revolver 2 or something, because this game seems like more of a standalone thing. One of the comments I got the most was about Dutch, and honestly, I shouldn't be surprised. I literally asked you guys if Dutch should be a playable character in the video, and a lot of you guys were like, yeah, we want that. I really like this one that specifically talks about how it would be a trilogy in reverse if they did that, and you know what? Yeah, it would be. I guess it wouldn't have to end with Blackwater, and it could somehow end a different way. Even though I said playing as Dutch would be a bad idea, all of these comments made me think of a way we could play as this guy that becomes a certified psycho. The trilogy in reverse idea is pretty cool, and playing as Dutch allows us to see the gang getting built up. In the video, I said we know a lot about how the gang was being built up and showed Javier talking about how Dutch rescued him, but I do think it would be more fun to play through these interactions rather than just hear about them from the characters. Thinking about this kind of sparked an idea in my head about what Red Dead 3 could be, and remember that trader idea? Well, it's kind of similar to that idea, but instead you play as Dutch, and that trader was one of Dutch's good friends. Instead of Dutch having a plan that was crazy, what if the trader was actually just that, a traitor? Dutch then feels the need to redeem himself for bringing this guy into the mix and goes off and kills him to protect the gang that he formed over the course of this game. That could be a climactic ending for the game, because I really think showing Blackwater would be a bad idea. I saw this comment about a spin-off game and I thought it would be super cool. It's kind of similar to my trader idea, but it's with a different gang. Maybe this could be a backstory on one of the members of the Vanderlyn gang that we don't know very well. They would obviously keep this a secret because they wouldn't want Dutch losing trust in them. Now that I'm saying this out loud, I'm thinking maybe actually my take on this idea is doing too much, and what you said originally was way better. So I'm sorry, Iceberg, I should have just let you cook. I saw some comments like this one about Charles, and I honestly don't think this would be a bad game really at all, but I really like how Charles's story ended. At the end of the epilogue, it seemed like he was done with the outlaw life. He also got a ton of money and decided that he wanted to settle down with a family in Canada and just be happy. Throughout a lot of the story, it seemed like Charles wasn't as notorious as Arthur, John, and especially Dutch. Especially because he was alive making a living in Saint Denis after the gang splits up. Like, look at this man making an honest living. It's so wholesome. Seriously though, he was only doing this for money, and now that he has money, Charles doesn't seem like the guy that's just gonna go and start trouble. It doesn't really make sense to me that we have a full game about a guy that's about peace and also has money. Like, I feel like the game would just be like finding a wife, and I don't really know if that would be like an interesting game, but maybe it would be, I don't know. But also, I do get where you're coming from because I love Charles, he's like the GOAT. Same kinda goes for Sadie for me, but it's a little different. Just like Charles, she has a ton of money, and she said in the last mission of the game that she wants to settle down and move to South America. At the same time though, she's Sadie. She's dope, first of all, but also she's kinda crazy, and she also does crazy stuff. So if someone messes with her in the future, she will not stop until she gets revenge, John Wick style. So while I kind of like the idea of her avenging her husband, her making some money, and then deciding that her wild days are over, I also wouldn't mind if they carved out a new story for Sadie somehow. This one was funny. What do you mean you don't know what it's about? Like, did you watch the whole game on mute when you played it? I'm not trying to make fun of you or anything, I'm just wondering what you mean. Like, did you not understand the theme of the story, which is fine. I watch movies all the time and I don't really know what the message of the movie is supposed to be. Or do you mean you literally did not know what was going on in the game at all times? It's okay though. I mean, I understand just liking how the game's played and not really caring about the story. Also, shout out this guy for answering all of the questions I had at the end of the video. This massive comment by Jolo6051 is great here. I fully agree with you about the game being called something else instead of Redemption if it's not with the same characters. Like, the brand recognition would still be there with the name Red Dead. The third word being different isn't gonna tank sales or anything, so I think it's super realistic. Also, I think your idea is great. I would totally play this game. I do slightly disagree that the story of the Vanderlyn gang is done. I think it's all these comments talking about a trilogy to me, but it's just all starting to make sense now. Like, we saw the fall of the gang in Red Dead 2 and then the fallout in the first game. So we've seen the fall and the fallout, but we haven't seen the rise yet. So maybe there's still more story to tell. Either way, I loved your comment and thanks for sharing your awesome idea. You know what, that actually just goes for all of you guys who commented. Well, except for the ones that were kind of rude. But seriously, it was really cool reading your guys' thoughts on the next Red Dead. It's always fun theorizing on what a new game could be, so I'm really glad I got to do that with all you guys. But yeah, with that said, if you want me to make more videos about Red Dead 2, just like and subscribe. And also, if you want to see me do other videos, you should also do that. Thanks for the support recently. It's been really cool. Also, I'll put up some comments here that I liked but I couldn't fit into the video. But yeah, see ya.